Hi friends, we will create a simple animation today. We will start off by getting Cassie. So you see Cassie's been placed. Cassie is a sprite on Scratch. On a stage background, we're going to get Cassie to dance, and we'll do that first in Scratch, and later on we will do the same thing using microbit. So we'll use the controls on the microbit to get Cassie to move around. So head over to Scratch. Your URL is scratch.mit.edu. So head over to Scratch. Let's create a simple project. What I'm going to do is I will start out by deleting the sprite. So I've got a cat sprite on the screen, so let's delete that. I'm going to get rid of this cat sprite. I'll then select another sprite. Let's select Cassie. So I'll select Cassie as my sprite. What I'll also do is, so this is for choosing a sprite, and we selected Cassie, and what I'm also going to do now is head over to the corner and choose a backdrop. Now I intend to put Cassie on stage, so I will select the stage backdrop. There we go. So that's the stage. So I've placed Cassie. Cassie is a sprite, and in Scratch you can program sprites. And I put Cassie on a stage. What I want to do now is get Cassie to dance to some music. So let's say I'm going to pick the when flag clicked, forever, play some interesting music, and let's test that out. So that's Scratch playing music in a forever loop. Stop that now. What I now want to do is I want to get Cassie to move around. So I want Cassie's got different costumes. We should be able to see that by clicking on the costume tab. So I've got Cassie selected here. Cassie is the only sprite on the screen. Got a costume, and you see Cassie's got 4 different costumes, and this one's a default costume. So I'll go back and I'll say, okay, when spacebar is clicked, change the costume. Where is change costume? Okay, there we go, next costume. So that should basically give us the functionality to get Cassie to dance every time we click the spacebar. So let's try it out. Here we go. I'll press the spacebar. So there we go. We've created a simple program where we've got Cassie to dance, to some music, lovely music, and we have we put that together by simply using a forever loop to play music, and the when space key pressed option to keep changing costumes, and that gives us the it gives an effect, or it seems like Cassie is dancing to some lovely music. Now what we'll do next is we will add support for the microbit. So let's go ahead and let's say so we clicked on the left hand side, add extension option, picked a microbit, and it says looking for devices. And if you remember, yes, if you've seen the previous video, you would have seen the approach used to install Scratch Link, get Scratch Link running on your machine, and also to download the hex file onto the microbit. So there are 2 things you need to do to be able to use a microbit with Scratch. Please check out our video from yesterday. If you haven't done that, you can go to I'll quickly show you the video which has the approach to get your microbit connected to Scratch. There we go. So that's at ostoylib.com.au, connecting Scratch 3 with the BBC microbit. So head over to ostoylib.com.au, go to the news and update section, and you will find connecting Scratch 3 with the BBC microbit. Scroll right down, and there's a video that walks you through the process of adding the microbit support for Scratch. So we'll go back. So there are two things you need to do. You need to install Scratch Link and get it installed, download it and get it installed, and you need to download a hex file which you need to save onto the microbit to enable microbit support for Scratch. So I won't go into that in detail. Please, if you need to pause the video right now, go back, look at the tutorial from yesterday, and come back later. So what we will do is I'll connect my microbit to the computer. Let's do that right now. Just connecting the microbit to the computer, and I'm saying look for devices, and it won't find it. So what we'll do is head over to the start menu, look for Scratch Link, make sure that we've got Scratch Link running. There's Scratch Link. Let's click on Scratch Link. There we go. So now that let's try again. I've got my microbit connected to the computer. Let's do that, and let's see what it comes up with. There you go, and it's found microbit. Let's say connect. Awesome. Okay, so there we go. We go to the editor again. Now that we are back, what we'll do is we'll go down, scroll right down until you come to the microbit blocks. And what we will do now is basically say when button pressed, next costume. And what that should do is very simply, every time you press button A on your microbit's got two different buttons, button A, button B, it should change costume. So let's try that out now. Stop, and we cut the program. And this time I'm not going to use the spacebar key, but I'll use the button A on the microbit. There we go. Sweet. And you see the microbit blocks glowing every time I press the microbit, the button A on microbit. So that's it. It's very easy to add functionality to microbit functionality to your Scratch program. We've put together a simple program today where we've got a Scratch sprite on screen, which was animated initially just using simple Scratch blocks. We played some music in a forever loop, and then after that we added a couple of blocks that gave us the functionality to change costume every time the spacebar key was pressed on the keyboard. And then we took it a bit further where we've added microbit functionality, and then finally, after enabling the microbit modules, we've written code to such that every time button A is pressed on the microbit, it changes the costume. So with basic blocks like these, you can create complex programs. You can create animation, you can create games, you can create a lot of fantastic programs in Scratch. I would encourage you to explore Scratch and use the microbit to create some really exciting games, animation, and applications. Thank you for your time. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Cheers.